Ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of hilarious. What's going on right now is that President Trump is getting impeached. They're going to impeach President Trump. The Senate is not going to convict President Trump. And what they're saying is, well, he forced another country to do his bidding because he was afraid of Biden. And this is just like when he didn't collude with Russia, which is what they say he did, but he didn't because Mueller found no evidence that he colluded at all. That's why nobody was charged with colluding or working as a foreign agent or anything to do with Russian intelligence officials who were only indicted because of CrowdStrike, and that company was outsourced by Democrats. But here you have, this is a great article in the Federalist. Great article. This impeachment inquiry is really about who sets U.S. foreign policy by John Daniel Davidson. Really great article. And it's true. The Democrats are like, oh my God, look what Trump did. He wanted to investigate Joe Biden. He was pushing the Ukraine. So what? If Biden had conflicts of interest, forget about what Democrats or how media feels regarding the money flowing into Hunter's account from Burisma. Okay, forget about the money flowing. Forget about the other conflicts of interest regarding China. This is all documented by Kenneth Vogel of the New York Times and by John Solomon of The Hill and by other journalists. The fact that the prevailing mentality in mainstream or on the left is that, well, there was no quid pro quo, and this is obviously to help Trump's chances. First of all, he's not even worried about Biden. I wrote in the Huffington Post in 2017, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Hillary Clinton is obviously running. Obviously. Who knows when she'll announce, either a week before Super Tuesday or tomorrow. We don't know. But she's obviously running. Trump knew this. President Trump was not frightened of Biden at all. In fact, he'll have a tougher time against Clinton, and he'll still easily defeat Clinton. Could be close, but he was never worried about Biden. The notion that he would be investigating Biden because he was so petrified that he had to get a foreign power to interfere in the election is absurd. This is like the neuroses that Democrats have. They lost for a whole litany of reasons. Cheating Bernie Sanders. She didn't visit Wisconsin. Clinton is unelectable, like I said in 2015. By the way, I find it very offensive that when I was saying Clinton was unelectable in 2015, I was like, the worst person, in humanity's history. In the history of humanity, there was nobody worse than H.A. Badman when I was writing in Salon and the Huffington Post, and I was a contributor to The Hill. Then you had people come out, oh my goodness, they wrote hit pieces on me, the Daily Beast, Raw Story. You had former Salon editors who couldn't stand me. You had all these people on Reddit who couldn't stand me. You had all these people everywhere who couldn't stand me. People like, there were certain quote-unquote journalists who devoted their lives. That's like the only thing they wrote about was me. And I was right. Now you have even CNN, S.E. Cupp, She's saying, oh, Hillary, get over it. And it's like, no, you're going to vote for Clinton. You voted for Clinton in 2016. You're going to vote for Clinton in 2020. Now it's mainstream to say, oh, my goodness. Anyway, that's a whole other story. The issue here is they can't find quid pro quo. They keep saying, well, he leveraged the Ukraine. President Zelensky stated he did not, that there was no leverage. So they don't know what to do now. This is really about foreign policy. This is really about who gets to set U.S. foreign policy, the President of the United States of America or the State Department and the intelligence community. Because with Bush and President Obama, you have two sides of the same coin. In terms of foreign policy, you can look at President Bush, the countries that he helped, just completely destroy, and you can look at President Obama with Libya. And you could look at President Obama getting us into even more countries in terms of military interventions. Now, this is a very difficult concept for the warped brains of people on the left to understand. It's a very, very difficult concept. There are people like myself, like you perhaps, feel that U.S. foreign policy is the most important topic, the absolute most important topic. There are people who feel that U.S. foreign policy is the absolute most important topic. So that's what they vote. They base their vote on that. If you have Max Boot and Bill Kristol voting Democrat, I don't care. I'm not voting for Max Boot or Bill Kristol. If you have somebody who wants to be tough on, if you have some, my God, I'm so sorry. If you have some, if you have somebody who wants to be tough on Russia, you want someone to be tough on Russia, then I'm not going to vote for that person, because the Cold War is over. We don't need like a Top Gun 3. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I explain this? What's taking place is that Democrats do not want President Trump in charge of foreign policy. So then they accuse him of a quid pro quo arrangement, that this is worse than Watergate. Again, worse than Watergate. He worked with Russia. That didn't happen. Now he's leveraging the Ukraine to investigate Biden, even though there are legitimate reasons to investigate Biden. That's not enough for Democrats. They have to say, well, you know what? I mean, this is Paul Sperry. This is great. And in addition to that Federalist article, Paul Sperry, Dems now charge Trump's impeachable offense was using an irregular channel to carry out his foreign policy, bypassing the entrenched diplomatic corps. But Dems are using the impeachment clause to criminalize foreign policy decisions by POTUS. That's the real abuse of power here. Okay, even Schiff's lead impeachment counsel, Daniel Goldman, is confused, regardless of what you call it. Trump's supposedly impeachable offense, whether it's a quid pro quo, bribery, extortion, abuse of power, it's plain that this is an impeachment in search of an offense. Regardless of what you'd call it, they don't even have a name. They don't know what Trump did, which they don't even need. Dems are flailing again over impeachment offenses. They can't land one. Now, according to Pelosi, it's bribery. Bless her heart, she got it backwards. The bribery the framers viewed as impeachable offense referred to a president taking a bribe from a foreign power for a favor. So they don't even have they don't even have the Constitution's own words. They don't even have the actual clause within the Constitution regarding impeachment. Correct. It's not, okay, to Democrats, anything of, okay, they look at a thing of value as anything that hurts their chances in the election. That's a thing of value to them. That's worth more than like 1 million gold bars or like, $1 trillion. Their unbridled quest for political influence. I mean, it's really Clinton. It goes back to Clinton. It's a political machine run by two people. But you have to understand something. It's like there's no impeachable offense. They're looking at a conversation. They're getting a whole bunch of diplomats who say, yeah, we think Trump engaged in unethical behavior during a conversation. So what? It's none of their business. Who cares what they think? I mean, where are the conversations that were scrutinized from Bush and Obama? Where were the conversations scrutinized by these foreign policy experts who, by the way, never get anything right? You had 16 years of Bush and Obama's foreign policy, two sides of the same coin, interventionist foreign policy that Bill Kristol and Max Boot and all of these neoconservative. Look, when Trump hired the homeless walrus, Bolton, okay, he did so because Bolton is a yes man. He didn't do so because Bolton is like this, mastermind, amazing, brilliant, scholar. He helped George W. Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld with their failed interventions. Miserably failed. And it has nothing to do with the heroism and the courage and the honor of our soldiers, men and women, who made immense sacrifices and who fought to protect us. It has nothing to do. It has to do with the civilians who dropped the ball. It has to do with the civilian leaders who put our soldiers in harm's way. And the same thing happened in Vietnam. So we've had a history of this the past 50 years, where we continually engage in interventions. Unfortunately, after Vietnam, it took us a long time before Bush made the mistake again, because we had that specter, that the ghost of what took place during the Vietnam years that kind of held us back, saying, wait, so we can't do this again. Then you had a generation that forgot the lessons that we learned. So after the Gulf War, we said, well, you know what? Oh my goodness, nobody could even stand a chance. So then we forgot all those lessons, and this ties into Daniel Bolger's book, Why We Lost. General Daniel Bolger. The United States military is meant for a quick, decisive military victory, and that's it. You leave. Not to stay. We're not policemen. We're not law enforcement agencies that were supposed to stay there forever and patrol streets. We're meant to defend our country and for quick, decisive victories. Military victories. Not protracted, occupations or, where, you have to battle IEDs. And if Trump wants a good relationship with Russia and he wants a good relationship with Ukraine, it's none of the Democratic Party's business, or whatever his foreign policy is, which is the antithesis of what Democrats want. Democrats look at, we have to be tough on Putin. Why? Putin got 20% of U.S. uranium capacity during the book. That is a fact. Like, to Democrats, it's completely irrelevant because it's a commodity. Pork bellies or whatever. It's just a commodity, No, it's a commodity that can, build the most dangerous weapon known to mankind. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin Trudeau, people kind. But the thing here is, they're going to impeach him. It really doesn't matter. This is all a charade for Clinton. Why do you? Okay, I did a segment today on Deval Patrick entering the presidential contest. Like 2 people saw that segment. People are tired. They're like, oh, here we go again. Here we go. It's going to happen. You think they're going to go with Bloomberg or Biden or Warren or Bernie or Deval Patrick? No, they're going to go with Clinton. Clinton just can't enter the race right now. She has to be like, oh my God, many people have told me to run, but I don't want to. And then suddenly you see Bloomberg and Deval Patrick, and they're all running. Well, gee, what's going on? And then they say, oh, you look at crop circles, you say Clinton's running. It's like, no, that too would be would be a lot more logical than Biden winning, because that's not happening. But anyway, they have to impeach Trump. They don't care what they're getting him on a conversation because they say it's quid pro quo. The thing of value was investigating Biden. Nobody cared about Biden. Biden doesn't even want to run. Biden's losing money. And they say, well, he's up in the polls, so what? That's a disrespectful comment to Bernie and to Warren and to everyone else. The Democratic Party and liberal voters are getting played, but there is no Democratic Party. Liberal voters on the left, by and large, are getting completely played because they want to. How are they going to admit that the whole thing's a fabricated farce, a theatrical performance? They cheated Bernie Sanders. Then they complained about Russia cheating them. They found no evidence. They completely politicized all these wonderful intelligence agencies that have never been right on anything. From, the Bay of Pigs, the Gulf of Tonkin, the fall of the Berlin Wall. They didn't predict that. George W. Bush's failed interventions. Oh, we had bad intel. Oh, that's no problem. Okay. Bad intel caused Vietnam and Bush's interventions, and also the destruction of Libya under President Obama. And then also you had Facebook ads that we have still no clue how many people saw the Facebook ads. One way, I suggest you don't talk to anyone regarding this. You don't debate anyone. But when people say, well, the Russians interfered, well, how many votes did the Facebook ads alter? And which Facebook ads altered votes in swing states? Because she won the popular vote. How many votes were altered by the DNC emails? And if they were altered by the DNC emails, why? Oh, because Bernie Sanders was cheated. Oh, that's right. That's right. So, I mean, I can't help but go through the same themes all over again because it's important. Even though it's annoying or boring or whatever, monotonous, but the same themes. Every day, Democrats and media work to ensure that you forget that Bernie was cheated, no matter what you think of him. I don't think very highly of him now because he's essentially a tool of the Democratic Party. And, he could have simply said, no, the Russians didn't cheat me, Clinton did. Or Debbie Wasserman Schultz did, but then he would get the Tulsi Gabbard treatment, and he doesn't like to fight back. Warren is there specifically to ensure Bernie can't win. It's kind of hilarious. Tulsi Gabbard's the only person who fights back, and her thing is foreign policy. And everyone there is different. You had like this article from S.E. Cupp at CNN. It's like, there's so many diverse candidates. No, Bill de Blasio and Amy Klobuchar have. One's a lot taller, one's a lot shorter. That's about as diverse as they get. That's really, they're not diverse in thought. That's the point. There's no diversity in thought. There's zero diversity in thought. They're all the same. They all differ slightly, except Warren and Bernie want the same things that are not feasible. So they're going after Warren, and they knock out Bernie that way. Because they can't overtly cheat him. They already did that. What are they going to do? Cheat him again? Yeah, but through Warren. Nobody else has even a chance after Biden, Bernie, and Warren. And neither of those are feasible. So, then you get Clinton 2020, which I called from 2017. Let's put it this way. When you were out watching this channel and I was saying Clinton's going to run, most people were like, no way. HA's completely lost it. Now everyone's talking about it. And it's going to happen. And I called it 2 miles, 10 miles away. But the issue is all of this is tied to impeachment. They have to make everything so morally relative that people say, I know what, I'll just vote for Clinton. Even that won't work. Give me your thoughts below. They can't find quid pro quo. They can't find anything. It's just a conversation. It's based on semantics and opinion, and it's all subjective. But they're going to impeach him for this. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Thank you.